My name's Clint Gore. I'm with the CDDA Bring It to the Surface mental health initiative. And here's a little bit about my story. It goes way back to when I was young. I was always good at sports. I seemed to have found my identity in that space. And on the outside, everybody always thought that I was confident and that life was good. What they didn't see was some of the struggles and fears and anxieties that I kept secret. I didn't tell anybody. Growing up, I was always captain of teams on Team Canada for track and field, MVPs, athletes of the year, but I always struggled. I had anxiety. I didn't think I had any worth outside of sports. I just thought people liked me because I was really good at sports. And I carried that with me throughout childhood and into high school and into university. It wasn't really a problem until sports disappeared. And then I was just left with nothing. I was pretty much, in my mind, useless. Nobody would like me anymore because I wasn't providing those things that I thought everybody appreciated about me. And I continued to struggle. I struggled with addictions. At the end of university, I was told that I can't throw anymore, and that's where my identity came from. I was a pitcher, and I was a javelin thrower, and after my 5th surgery, they told me that I should probably not be doing that anymore. And that's when kind of everything really started to fall apart. I moved out west and started doing some masonry type work, and that's where I fell into addiction. I started using cocaine and crack and ended up my stay out in Calgary going through addiction treatment for 90 days 3 times. And then finally my dad flew out and brought me back to Ontario where he could keep an eye on me, which was quite embarrassing for a person who was, I believe I was around 27 at the time. Between 27 and 35 is when I became a petroleum mechanic. My life continued to downward spiral from there. In 2015 is when it all kind of came to a surface. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to turn to, and I tried to get through everything by myself. I had just gotten back from Attawapiskat, and I talked to the owner of the company that I was working at, and I just told him that I don't think that I should be going on this next job, that I wasn't well, and that I just needed some time to work on my mental health. I didn't know at the time what that meant or what that was going to look like. I just knew that I shouldn't be making any decisions. In that moment, I was crying. We were in the back shop, and he just kind of looked at me, and he had no idea how to handle it. And he asked me, well, could you just finish this one last job? And so I wasn't really in a state where I was making any rational decisions. And so I said, fuck it. I decided to go and do that job. And so we head out to Ottawa, and we were going to be decommissioning a site. And so we've done it many times before, and there's processes to follow. And for some reason on this one, it just didn't seem like anything was going the way that it should. For 4 days, we just went back and forth with the owner, and none of that process was being followed. And on the 5th day, I showed up. It was September 17th, 2015. And as I got to site, I could see 2 tractor trailers sitting there waiting to take away the fuel tanks that were supposed to be ready to be shipped. And they weren't ready because we didn't have a company come in and check them for fumes or vapors or confirm that it was safe to move forward. I look over, and one of the guys was about to start cutting the tank. And at that moment, there was just anger, confusion, and emotion that took over. And I stormed over. I grabbed the saw from the one guy who was about to cut the tank, and I said that I'm going to cut these tanks and I'm going to drive back to North Bay and I'm going to knock him out and I'm going to be done my job. I'll never do this shit again. At the time, I wasn't concerned about anything that could happen. I wasn't worried about the worst case scenario. I wasn't worried about anything. I wanted out of that situation, and this was the way that I went about doing it. And so I grabbed the saw and I decided that I was going to cut the tank. I heard a sound that I'll never forget, and it was. So in that moment, I closed my eyes, I turned my head, I threw down the saw, and then it was just like, boom, the tank exploded, and it was like God grabbed me and just chucked me. I looked down and everything was melted off of me. I was in the hospital just over around the 30-day mark. I got the word that I was free to go home, and I thought that this was going to be the start of, the whole recovery, and I was so wrong. The minute I got home, I walked into the house and I sat on the couch, and it felt like there was an elephant sitting on my chest. I felt terrified. I didn't know why my brain was just scattered, and it was awful. I catastrophized everything. I was hypervigilant. The doctor told me that I should get out with my family and try to do things and get back to the normal flow of life. And so for the first few days, I tried to take the kids to the park, and it was so exhausting and terrifying because on the walk to the park, they like to crawl up on the walls and jump off the walls and run on the sidewalk. And I was so scared that in my head, my brain was telling me, oh my goodness, they're going to slip off the curb, fall, and get run over by a bus. I would yell at them, don't do that, walk here. And I was just frantic. And when we got to the park, and the whole time at the park, I'm worried. I'm telling them not to do things. I thought they were going to fall off the jungle gym and break their femur and the bone was going to poke through. And these thoughts came to me, and they were so real, and I believed them. And I just started to shut down. After a few times trying to go out with the kids and be with the family, I just decided that I was just going to hang out in my back shed. One day, after about a year, I woke up, I walked into the house, and I thought to myself, that's it, I'm done. I've had enough. And this is a point that I still feel some guilt about, and I'm working through. And it's crazy because I've told this story a lot of times now, and this part really hurts, and it still hits me. But my kids were watching TV. My wife was sitting at the table eating, and I walked in and I punched the wall a couple times, and then I told her that I'm going out to the street and I'm going to knock out every fucking person I see until the cops shoot me, or I'm going to jump in front of a bus. I said that in front of my kids and my wife. And looking back at it now, I couldn't imagine having somebody that I cared about walking in and feeling that way and then heading out to go do it. So she called, my wife is a rock. She called my psychiatrist at Sunnybrook and told her that something had to change. I was already feeling bad because the guilty dad stuff. I'm always away for work, and now they want to send me away to this PTSD recovery program in Guelph, which was, 5 hours away from my family, and they wanted me to be there for, I think, 64 days. For the first 3 days, I literally sat in my room and cried. I forgot to mention that one of my biggest coping tools while I lived in my garage was smoking weed. I couldn't sleep very well. I maybe slept 2 or 3 hours a night. And so I would go to bed at 11 and wake up at about 1:30. And the moment I opened my eyes, I hit the bong, and every 10 minutes throughout the day, I would be smoking some sort of apparatus or joint or something. And so when I went to Homewood, I sat in my room and I cried for the first 3 days. I was frustrated because my main coping strategy was smoking weed, and I couldn't do that there. And I didn't know anybody, and I just felt broken. On day 3, I had a nurse come in, and I couldn't tell you her name, but she was probably, sorry, I got emotional thinking about her too. She was one of the first people to seem to care, and she came in. She came in to talk to me, and she told me that, she looked at me and she's just like, "I'm really proud of you for being here." And she told me that she was explaining self-care. She was explaining the program and how it works. She told me that, every time that I do something little for myself, that it's kind of compounding into that bank account of health. She wanted me to go to the next large group session. And so at Homewood, there's people that are kind of in different timelines in their recovery. And so I decided that I'd go to this group, and I sat there, and it was the craziest thing because all of a sudden I'm hearing from 10 other people, 12 other people, all the stuff that's going through my head. And it was the first time that I felt like it was normal, and that I started to understand how the mind and the body work, and how the nervous system worked. And it was after that group, that was probably the beginning of my transformation, we'll call it. My growth, my rebirth, whatever you want to call it. But I had a little bit of knowledge, I had some awareness, and I had a belief that things could actually change. Over the next couple years, I struggled, but there was constant growth, and again, that little ounce of hope that things could change. I started to practice breathwork and meditation, and then I heard about this guy called Wim Hof, and he had gone through some terrible things, and he was really struggling. And so he did this thing where he was just walking along one day, and he said the universe kind of called out to him, and there was some cold water, and he just went, and he broke the ice, and he set himself down into it. And he said for the first time that he didn't have all the thoughts and stuff going through his mind. And so I thought to myself, well, maybe I'll try this. And everything else is kind of, I feel kind of stuck and no progress, so I'll give this a try. So I told my brother one day, I'm like, "Hey man, I'm about to go down to the lake. You want to come with me? I'm going to chop a hole, and I'm going to jump in, and either I'm going to come back out or I'm not." And at that time, I was still not feeling the greatest. And so he was all in, and I went down there and I jumped in, and I think I was only in it for like 6 or 7 seconds. But for those 6 or 7 seconds, it was clarity. It was nothingness. I went into the water and I went, and for the first time in probably many years, I wasn't a piece of shit dad. I wasn't a bad husband. I wasn't anything. I was just cold. And so that kind of sparked this idea in me that if there can be clarity for these few moments, that there could certainly be long-term clarity. I just had to practice and figure out how to create that. Since then, I found a lot of different mentors. I got big into personal development, mindset, mental performance, and regulating the nervous system. I really started to practice breath work daily, cold exposure. I got into endurance sports because when you're out there running for hours on end, your brain can go to some negative, dark thoughts. I started to enjoy those moments where these negative thoughts would come up, and then how I would react with those thoughts or shift those thoughts. And so the journey to growth really came from those holistic practices that weren't very comfortable. Like, it's not comfortable getting into cold and minus 27, chopping a hole and climbing in to breathe through it. It's not very comfortable climbing up and down a hill until you hit the height of Everest. And lots of these thoughts, negative thoughts, can come up, but they're just thoughts. And so you can let them go, and you can also put your thoughts in different areas. So that's when it all started to change. Not a lot of people who go through hard times come out the other side. So it motivates me to just be a shining light for other people and to connect. And I call myself a farmer. I just plant seeds of insight. I don't have all the answers. I just know the stuff that I did that worked for me, and I just share that with other people. And life has been getting so much better since those days. The goal for Bring It to the Surface is raising awareness, starting conversation, and creating actions to move forward, whether those are coping strategies such as breathwork or meditation or daily awareness charts or reflecting or journaling, or there's all kinds of things that we want to bring forward with Bring It to the Surface. But if there's no awareness, there could be no change. And if there's no change, then things just stay where they are. So awareness, communication, losing the fear to share what you're actually feeling. Nobody will ever know what you're going through unless you're brave enough to share it. And then once you actually go through those, you're aware, you're sharing, and then having tools to turn to help change that state. Big changes don't come from big changes. Big changes comes from small things practiced consistently over time, and having the grace to know that the things that we're doing for ourselves right now aren't going to be noticed tomorrow. You harvest in the future. Nothing of great value comes instantly.